Hello folks, and welcome to this quick video on the changes in version 1.24 of Worldographer. I'm Joe Wetzel, the creator of the program, and I'm just going to throw up a quick little map, World Kingdom map here to kind of show what's different. There you go. And actually the first change you don't even need the map for. We used to have a view options drawer here where we had a bunch of things that we've moved now to the bottom bar of the application. We've added a bottom bar, I should say. And that was done because I think as you're using it, some of these controls you might want to turn on and off and not have to switch. Say if you have some features that you're in the process of adding, you might not want to have to go back to the view options drawer, which closes the features drawer, and then have to reopen it. It just seemed like from a workflow perspective it was a whole lot better. So now you can say if we add this feature here and have it set to GM only, we can add it to the map. Actually, you got to show GM only. So this kind of gives you these options to do this, and then the red glow also that's added there, so that if you're not sure which things are GM only, it's an easy way to see that. Anyway, all of those things were on the view options bar before. It's just moved to a new place. Sometimes you want to toggle the grid on and off, or you want to configure the changes to the grid so you can set it up a little bit differently, or change the coloring, that sort of thing. Next change is we revised, and this is thanks to our Patreon supporters, we revised the coastline generation, so it's a little bit more dynamic, or gives a lot more variety. And so if I go to generate coasts here, it's going to add them to every land terrain, kind of is going to get some coastline added of the color that matches up to that adjacent terrain. And previously in Worldographer, the coastline was kind of fixed as far as how far out would it join with each of these shapes. For example, this shape that I'm pointing at here with my mouse, that would come out to approximately here, and it would end approximately here, and there wasn't any variety. You couldn't have like a thinner strip or a wider strip. So that's one change there, and so we have the math now in the tool when we're making all these little shapes, and again, these are simply shapes. So if we want to edit them, we go down to our shapes drawer here, and then click the select shape button, and if we click on one of these points, then we get that one, and we can then hold down Control to kind of drag these things around, for example. You could add new points and so forth with these instructions here. So anyway, you have more variety there. You also have more variety as far as these the extent to which they jump out can vary more. You can actually, instead of having one point, in some cases you can have 2 points that they would jump out to, that sort of thing. So that's what we've got in the tool as far as changes to generating coastlines. There's one other thing that I would like to show with coastlines. If I undo that, what you can do now also, it used to be that to generate a coastline you'd have to kind of come down here on the terrain and hit make coastline, and then you could click on a particular terrain and it would go ahead and do that for you. Now you've got also, even without that being selected, say if I'm in the mode of placing water, for example, in that case, instead, if I right click, sorry, I clicked the wrong button there, but if I right click, I can do generate coastline here, so I don't have to be in that particular mode in order to make a coastline, and it does do it for each of the terrain types that are around there. So if I do another one here, generate coastline here, and it does that for you. So those are two changes. The view options and the coasts. We also have, this was something that was kind of a bug, to be honest, previously. Let me generate in some nations and empires here. So this is just randomly finding good locations for nations and empires and placing them on the map for you. Kind of it places a capital city and then it builds out a number of cities and towns and so forth based on a distance away from any prior cities, as well as the resources that are available in a particular area. For example, I can go to select here and I can pick this particular terrain, and that tells me kind of values for how good are the animals and crops and lumber and so forth in that particular spot. Anyway, but if I want to go into shapes again here, I can hit select and just this isn't really the use case that you would use for this, but you'll see what you're able to do. You're able to now drag shapes and drag multiple shapes. So I've got two different shapes there selected, and I can hold down the control key, and as long as I'm not right on a point, if I click and drag, these would move. And so if I want to move an entire border for these particular empires, I can do so. You can also hit Control Z to undo that and put it back where it belongs. And then that brings up the other bug that we had, which was drawing lines. When I draw lines, I draw them always by clicking a number of points and not trying to drag. Typically, I'll draw. I'll click on, for example. Let me just show you. So I've got line selected and no fill, and this is just a dark color here. And so just to make a line here, I will do this. I will click individual points to make a line, and if I need, if I wanted a river, I could click points that are close to each other. So when I tested for the prior release, that's what I had done, but that was not allowing a line to be drawn if you clicked and dragged. Let's delete that because we had snap set, and that's why it was giving us a line that was kind of very squarish looking. So now if I draw this line, I've got that, and then I can deselect it and you can see what that line looks like. So anyway, so that's fixed now. So those are the changes in this version 1.24. Like I said, the big thing that we were working on, and in fact it came out in 1.23 a week ago, which was the coastline changes came out then. But then we also in 1.24 made those couple of bug fixes, as well as moved the view options bar. Give me feedback on that. That's something where if I have a large number of people saying, oh, that's a terrible idea and here's why, then I could revisit that and maybe move it back to the drawer, find some other solution. But I kind of like that. Kind of might do something like that with some of these other drawers as well. I could see reducing them all to one strip of information. That would be kind of cool, and you could toggle which one is active. So if I figure out a good UI way to do that, we'll do that. We'll be also working on a number of other UI improvements. So again, I hope the tool allows you to make some great maps. Thank you.